What if I told you that there's one machine humans invented that literally no animal on Earth has ever evolved? Not one. Insects, mammals, birds, reptiles, nothing. And the reason isn't what you think. Most people believe animals didn't grow wheels because evolution is slow or because wheels are too advanced. But that's completely backwards. If wheels were actually the perfect solution for movement, evolution would have found them 100 million years ago. Instead, legs dominated every ecosystem on the planet. Here's what most people miss. The problem isn't that wheels are too complex. The problem is that wheels are biologically impossible for living organisms. And I'm going to show you exactly why. The 3 reasons evolution chose legs over wheels every single time. By the end of this video, you'll understand a constraint of biology that explains why your car will always be fundamentally different from a cheetah and why the fastest animals on Earth run instead of roll. You'll also see why humans are the only species that could ever invent wheels. Stick with me. Let me start with the obvious. Wheels are incredible. They reduce friction, they're efficient, and they've transformed human civilization. A wheel attached to an axle is one of humanity's greatest inventions. So it's natural to assume that evolution would have discovered this too. It seems like the perfect design. But here's the twist that changes everything. Wheels only work in a very specific world. And that world doesn't exist in biology. Before I show you why, let me establish why I'm qualified to break this down. This isn't my theory. This comes from biomechanics researchers, evolutionary biologists, and even engineers who study locomotion. Scientists have actually asked this exact question, and the answers are backed by physics and 500 million years of evolutionary evidence. I'm going to walk you through 3 biological constraints that make wheels literally impossible for animals. Then I'll show you why this matters for understanding how life actually works. And finally, I'll reveal why only humans could bridge the gap. The first reason no animal grew wheels is the simplest. Wheels need energy to turn, and that energy has to come from somewhere. When you pedal a bike, your legs pump energy into the pedals. The wheel receives continuous power because your muscles are connected to it through an axle system. But here's where biology breaks down. An animal's muscles are attached to bones through tendons. And bones can only move in specific directions at specific joints. An animal's leg is a lever. Your femur, tibia, and fibula are rigid structures connected by joints that can only bend certain ways. When your muscles contract, they pull on bones. This creates movement through articulation, bending at the knee, hip, and ankle. A wheel, on the other hand, needs to spin freely around an axle. It needs continuous 360-degree rotation. For an animal to have a wheel, it would need muscles that could power constant, uninterrupted rotation. But animal muscles work through contraction and relaxation. They pull and release. They don't continuously rotate. Here's the problem. If you're a creature trying to evolve a wheel, your muscles would need to be embedded inside the wheel itself, or you'd need some kind of internal axle system that connects your muscles to the wheel's center. But your skeletal system doesn't work that way. Unlike a human engineer who can bolt a motor to an axle, evolution can only build bodies that grow from existing biological blueprints. You can't just attach a muscle to the outside of a spinning structure and expect it to work. The muscle needs to be anchored to something stable, and that something stable is bone. But if bone is inside your wheel, the wheel can't spin freely. It's blocked. Imagine trying to run, but your hip and ankle joints were locked in place, and only your entire leg could rotate at the hip socket. You'd spin in circles instead of moving forward. Your muscles can't sustain that kind of motion, and your skeletal system isn't built for it. This is why every animal on Earth, from humans to insects, uses limbs that are fixed at joints and articulate through bending. This is the only design that actually works biologically. But let's say evolution somehow solved the power problem. Let's imagine an animal that could power a wheel. There's still a second problem that would stop it dead. A wheel needs to be perfectly rigid and structurally sound to operate efficiently. The rim, the hub, the axle. All of it has to maintain its shape under stress. If your wheel deforms, flexes, or absorbs impact unevenly, it's no longer a wheel. It's just a lumpy object rolling through the mud. Living tissue doesn't work that way. Every animal's body is designed to absorb impact and flex. When you walk, your joints act like shock absorbers. Your bones are slightly flexible. Your connective tissue gives and adapts. This is why you can run across rough terrain and not break your legs every time you hit a rock. A wheel can't do that. A wheel is rigid. It's unforgiving. The moment you put a rigid spinning structure on terrain that isn't perfectly smooth, you have a problem. The wheel hits an obstacle, and because it can't flex or adapt, the force transfers directly to whatever the wheel is attached to. Now imagine you're a creature with a wheel leg. You step into a hole. Your wheel gets stuck or tilts at an angle. Your rigid wheel hits a rock while spinning. The impact doesn't get absorbed by biological tissue that flexes and adapts. Instead, that force travels straight into your spine, your internal organs, your nervous system. Animals absorb impact through flexibility. Wheels operate through rigidity. These are fundamentally opposed design principles. And here's the thing. The terrain where animals actually live, forests, grasslands, rocky mountains, soft sand, is full of obstacles and uneven surfaces. A wheel is made for smooth roads. But smooth roads didn't exist until humans built them. Evolution was never designing for smooth roads. It was designing for chaotic, unpredictable terrain. This is why wheels are only truly efficient on man-made surfaces. And that's a problem if you're an animal that evolved millions of years before roads existed. Here's the third problem, and this one is maybe the most interesting. Even if an animal could solve the power problem and the structural problem, evolution wouldn't choose wheels because they're metabolically expensive and functionally limited. Let me explain with an example. A cheetah can reach 70 miles per hour. A gazelle can change direction at 90-degree angles in a single bound. An ant can walk on any surface, sideways, upside down, through water, over vertical walls. A wheeled animal? It can only move forward or backward. It can't strafe. It can't turn without stopping or sliding. It can't climb. It can't swim efficiently. It can't navigate anything except flat, open terrain. In nature, versatility is survival. An animal that can only move on flat terrain with nothing blocking it is an animal that's dead in 95% of Earth's actual ecosystems. Legs let you climb, jump, swim, turn on a dime, and brake instantly. Wheels let you go faster in one direction on one type of surface. That's a terrible trade-off for a living organism. But here's the deeper issue. Wheels would require an enormous biological investment that offers almost no return in nature. Imagine you're an organism evolving. You could invest resources in developing muscles, connective tissue, bone structure, and nervous system connections that allow you to have a functioning wheel leg. That's massive genetic code. That's a huge metabolic cost to build, maintain, and repair. Or you could invest those same resources in improving your existing legs, making them stronger, faster, more flexible, better at sensing terrain, better at generating explosive power. From an evolutionary perspective, the second option wins every single time. Legs are already optimized for survival. They work in every environment. They're efficient. Adding wheels doesn't improve your survival odds. It makes you more specialized, more fragile, and less adaptable. Evolution doesn't design for efficiency in a laboratory. It designs for survival in chaos. And in chaos, versatility beats specialization. Here's what makes humans different. We're the only species on Earth that builds our own environment. We create smooth roads. We build flat surfaces. We design terrain around our tools instead of designing tools around existing terrain. A wheel only makes sense in a world of human design: roads, vehicles, machinery, structures built to specification. We engineered the world to accommodate wheels because our brains can imagine abstract solutions to problems our bodies didn't evolve to solve. When humans invented the wheel around 3500 BCE, we did something no animal could do. We externalized our movement into a separate device. We said, what if we don't move with wheels? What if we build wheels and attach them to things we build? A horse doesn't ride in a cart. The cart carries the horse's cargo while the horse walks beside it. Humans created a completely new system where the wheel became an extension of our tool-making ability, not a biological adaptation. This is the key insight. Wheels aren't a biological solution. They're a technological solution. And technology is only possible for creatures with abstract reasoning, the ability to plan, and hands capable of building complex structures. This tells us something fundamental about life. Biological design and mechanical design are solving different problems. Evolution optimizes for survival in uncontrolled environments. Technology optimizes for efficiency in controlled ones. No animal grew wheels because wheels are the opposite of biological. They're technological. And that gap between biology and technology is one of the things that makes human creativity uniquely powerful. Let me bring this all together. You clicked on this video because the title made you curious. If wheels are so good, why didn't animals evolve them? Now you have the answer. It's not because evolution is slow or because wheels are too advanced. It's because wheels are fundamentally incompatible with how living organisms work. They require continuous rotational power that muscles can't deliver. They need rigid structures that don't flex the way biological tissue must. They offer no survival advantage in the chaotic terrain where animals actually live, making them a waste of evolutionary resources. But here's why this matters beyond just a cool fact. This question reveals how different the logic of biology is from the logic of engineering. Evolution and technology are solving different problems. One optimizes for survival. The other optimizes for efficiency in environments we control. Humans are the only species on Earth that could ever invent wheels because we're the only species that builds our own world. We created the smooth roads, the flat terrain, the controlled environment where wheels make sense. We engineered our surroundings to match our technological inventions. Every other animal? They evolved to match their surroundings. That's the fundamental difference between biological design and human technology. Now that you understand why no animal grew wheels, you see the natural world and human innovation completely differently. The next time you see a cheetah running or watch an ant climb a vertical wall, you'll recognize that these creatures solved problems that wheels never could. If this changed how you think about evolution, about technology, or about what makes human innovation special, drop a comment below. Tell me what surprised you most about why animals never evolved wheels. And if you want more videos that break down the hidden logic behind things in nature, subscribe. The algorithm doesn't push this stuff, so your subscription actually helps. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.